In the last episode, we pulled the boat apart to fix the auto-helm problem, explored Chub Cay and enjoyed the resort luxuries. In this episode, we sailed to Nassau and explored Atlantis, and we bought conch salad from some colourful locals directly off the back of our dinghy. And at the end of this episode, we share the essential steps to successfully manage emergencies at sea, so don't miss it.
So we are just exiting Chub Cay Marina. You can see it's a really narrow entrance and quite S-shaped, very sharp turns. And we came in here at night, so it was really quite a challenge, having never been here before, and obviously that's what you want to try and avoid. But you can see we probably have 5 or 10 meters spare on either side, so there is enough space, but when you can't see exactly what's in there and you're driving in at night, it's very nerve-wracking. The other challenge we had was one of the pylons had a dead light, so you couldn't see the pylon, and we actually were driving the wrong side of the pylon. In one sense it was a little bit of a risk because of the risk of going aground, but I could see the depth, so the depth was fine, but bigger risk that I would be afraid of is actually running into a pylon in the middle of the night because it didn't have a light on it. That would actually devastate your boat very rapidly.
Generally a rule is you don't really want to come into harbours when it's dark, but we didn't have much of a choice. We got storms and... Do you want me to go to the front?
Yeah, okay.
By Chub Cay. In the Bahamas you travel when you can see, which is when the sun's, you know, nice and bright. Crews putting away the fenders and the ropes. We got really good Wi-Fi reception, but that was mainly because we stayed in the resort. The resort costs us $265 a night. Probably the dearest we've ever paid for a berth, but it was very worth it. And we got to use the resort. We got to have beautiful swims, hot tubs, walks on the beach, little paddle in the water. We were very pleased to see this harbour the other night. Into the blue. Boys setting up for
Fish!
in hope of a fish today.
Crossing our fingers.
We can feel it in our bones.
We can feel it in our bones.
Good fishing weather. We want to hear those reels going off. Where are you going?
You're facing it the wrong way, honey.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
I don't think so.
It's a directional mic facing the wrong way. We'll see, won't we?
We will.
We are heading for Nassau, the capital of the Bahamas. Really just for an overnight stay and to get conch chowder. We're going all the way to Nassau just for conch chowder because it is so famous. And we're going to see Atlantis, which that's kind of just happens to be just nearby. It's been a very calm, peaceful sail and motor. Apparent wind is only like 3 or 4 knots the last few hours, and we are motoring just bit sad. So is everybody else.
There'll be better sailing days ahead.
There will.
Okay.
But, heading south into the more warmer climate, because when the wind blows and the sun goes away, it's actually quite cool still. So.
Yeah. So we have been sailing for the last about 45 miles, and we're just coming into Nassau in the Bahamas right now. So that's the new development over there, and we're going to be heading to there. So on the banks there you can see the industrial area of Nassau, I guess the city part of Nassau, and then over there, those tall buildings over there is Atlantis, so that's kind of on another island all by itself, and it's a massive theme park. But for now, we're going into the harbour. So I might be required for all hands on deck. The water's pretty choppy, but it's okay. There's the green marker over there. Here's the channel, and we've just passed the red marker, which is over there. So we're just going past the harbour wall where the industrial area is, and the lighthouse which is there. This is Nassau. Wow, this is where the cruise ship normally go, and there's no cruise ship there at all. So over there is the Atlantis theme park.
Yep, go.
Okay, so we're going for a run. We're in Nassau, and it's very early morning, very fresh and crisp. We're going for a little explore in the dinghy. Ready, Jimmy?
Aquarium that you can walk through. Jimmy said normally there's mega yachts all around here, but it's absolutely empty at the moment.
Every time they bring it up from the sea, the water comes out of the... Oh, there's a lot of water being pumped all the time. I think it's part of the pool and... yeah, I see.
So we headed under the bridges and worked our way round to what turned out to be the back of the conch salad restaurants.
Here in ramshackled old wooden buildings, we found one of the few people awake and willing to make us conch salad this early in the morning. Charming, happy, and very interesting.
Are those already open or?
No.
That was just a hole in the outside portion of the shell so that they can keep them alive here.
That's a good idea.
Watch your engine.
You could learn how to do that, honey.
Look at that.
Conch.
Sweet.
Number 2.
We just couldn't see ourselves going through here without stopping by and getting some of your conch salad.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
And you found me the Mike Dundee? Mick Dundee?
Yeah.
He's our relation.
Your brother?
Of course.
Call that a knife? This is a knife.
This is what we call a pistol.
What's that?
Aphrodisiac.
Oh, really? Well, we don't need it on this boat. We're all
Hey,
good.
just quick to say that, hey.
How long have you been doing this?
Basically all my life.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, no wonder you're skilled.
From a kid.
Oh.
From a kid growing up on the Family Island.
Yeah?
Your grandmother let you go out to sea.
Yeah?
Ah, okay.
You gotta learn to swim, you gotta learn to dive, you gotta learn to fish,
Yeah.
learn to feed yourself.
Yeah. Ah, cool.
You take the what you call the bleach bottle, cut off the top of the bleach bottle, take a string and tie a piece of tube around the top of it. Take a rock, a closed rock, cut the bottom part out of it, sharpen the edge, and that's our spear.
Is that
All
right?
right.
Open your eye on the water and you go spear fishing.
Ah.
Yeah.
Those are the days, hey?
You knew how to survive.
Yeah. I don't know if the young people would
No.
be so resilient these days, huh?
No, they don't know nothing about that. Everything is get on the laptop,
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here too, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, crikey.
That's why you find that the kids are so unhealthy nowadays.
Yeah.
Spend too much time around the television.
Yeah. I think that's a universal problem.
Yes, it is.
I think someone should do something about it, and I think you're the man for it.
That's a big job. Did you go up to it?
Absolutely. Wielding that knife, absolutely.
In order to keep them fresh, they tie a string, they cut a hole in the shell so they can put a rope through the shells, keep the conch alive, and then drop them back in the water. And when they want to eat them, they pull them up and get them at the shells.
Fresh conch.
Fresh conch, look at that.
Whoa. Heavy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
Have a
opening
wonderful
so
day.
early.
I
Yeah.
gotta start it up now. Yeah.
Conch salad. Woo-hoo. Oh.
Okay, so again, this is one of those clips that we wanted to talk about how the wind blows us across the paths of people needing help and experiences with really mental health stuff and reactions that people
Just life,
like.
you know.
That's right.
We find in everyday life we have people that we speak to, whether they're in an elevator, in an Uber, you know, on an island, in a shop, it doesn't matter where. We have these conversations with people and end up helping them solve their problem, which is
That's right.
perfect.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
I suppose the thing that was really interesting that we came across recently was discussing with some experienced yachtsmen who were also running salvage operations, and they were talking about the kind of reactions people had when their boat was in severe distress. So, for example, the reactions would vary from the people being essentially lying in fetal position, having to be taken off the boat, to never wanting to see the boat again, and really not even caring what happens to the boat, to obviously people who are functional and actually taking action to protect their boat at the time. So that was really interesting, because this is all about obviously how you control your internal thought processes, but also how you don't let the circumstances completely annihilate your ability to function effectively. So it's about managing in emergency. So should we talk about that?
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to, really, you've got two questions that you can ask yourself. One is there anything within my power that I can do to help the situation? And if the answer is yes, you ask yourself, what is it? And take action immediately. But if the answer is no, and there's, it's completely beyond your control, and, it's going down, and you don't have any control over it, then you have to be able to be okay with it and let it go, and just lean into it and go with the flow, because otherwise you're going to mess yourself up, right?
You are, that's right. I mean, an example of that is if you are in a huge storm out in the open ocean, and you've taken down all the sails and you put out your sea anchor, and you're lying and there's big waves and crashing over your boat, you physically can't do anything apart from obviously checking the bills to make sure you're not taking on any water. But at that point, you might as well go to bed and go to sleep and get some rest, because by the time this has happened, you've probably been in an escalating storm and you've been working the sails, you're probably exhausted. So if there's nothing you can do, relax, sit back and get your energy back and start thinking about the next steps. Prepare for future things that may happen, or other eventualities, whether that be capsize, or whether that be taken on water, or whether that be going into the life raft. Prepare the next steps, but always think without emotion, without fear, or without panic.
You don't have fear.
Fear is okay as long as you don't let it override your ability to function, and I think that's probably the most important things. Obviously, if there is action to take, then think logically, what is the best? If there's 10 things you have to do, well, what's the priority number one? And if there's several people on board, get each person doing the top few priority things, and then work your way down the list.
When you get really good at being aware of your negative thoughts and how they impact on you or what you do on a day-to-day level, having control over your negative thoughts when you do get into a potentially dangerous or catastrophic situation can be the difference between success and failure, can be the difference between the boat getting out of the situation all intact, or the boat actually sinking, or something worse happening. So if people can get their head around their own negative thoughts and how they impact on them every day, how strong are your negative thoughts? How much are your negative thoughts stopping you from doing the things that you need to do or that you can do? I think I'd like to add, if I may, the fact that while you're in a state of emotion and this crisis is happening, or something's happening to the boat, or there's a big storm or whatever, while you're in that emotion, that side of your brain that is responsible for the emotion and impacting on your body and how it feels completely takes over. In that state, it's virtually impossible to be logical. It's virtually impossible to be able to come up with solutions that you can think or act on. So while you're being emotional on this side, and oh my God, there's no way you're going to be able to be any good to yourself, the boat, the crew, or the situation that's going down. So the best thing you can do is to find a way of suppressing that urge to want to be emotional, and go, right,
what do I need to do?
Let's switch brains and let's get into my logical brain, because I want to know that I'm in a state of clarity, not emotion,
that I can take any action I need to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, just think about that. While you're all emotional and oh my God,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to think.
Okay, I mean, the other thing that's also very important is, and this is kind of a bit of a hard one, because we're also emotionally attached to our boats. So if your boat is going down, what the most important thing is to save your lives, okay? So if your lives are not at risk, then what's at risk here is the boat. Now, if you have insurance, then that's great, because there will be recompense. So if you get so emotional like you can't save your boat, you're probably going to lose it, because you're not going to take the action that's necessary. But if you think, okay, it's a boat, if we lose the boat, we need to make sure our lives are saved, you can focus on saving your life, because that way you are much more likely to take the action necessary to save the boat as well. I think that's fair, isn't it?
Yeah, and it puts things in perspective. I mean, this business about going down with the ship, meh.
Okay, but the other thing is, don't ever jump into a life raft until your boat is physically going under the water, okay?
Yeah.
Because there are so many boats where the boat is still floating completely empty and everybody's jumped off the boat in the storm into the life raft before the boat is actually sunk, maybe full of water but it hasn't sunk. Stay with your boat, inflate the life raft, lay it out, you know, on a tether at the back of the boat. When the boat is physically going under, then you jump into the life raft, but not before that.
If you have liked this episode, hit the like button, subscribe for free, and ding the dong so you don't miss your fix of the next exciting episode. Love and health from the Barefoot Doctors. Who's got my glasses? Somebody's got my glasses. Somebody.
Just making sure the camera's on, because we've done that before.